One of the most common questions that Connecticut criminal lawyers get every day from both victims of domestic violence and from their clients accused of domestic violence is, can the victim drop the charges? The short answer is no, they can't. But the situation is so much more complicated, and I'm going to explain the situation in much more detail in this video. I'm attorney Allan Friedman, and I thank you for watching my YouTube channel. Many victims of domestic violence want to drop the charges. Usually, the first contact person who calls into our law firm is a victim of domestic violence who wants to drop the charges and is upset because the police and the state's attorney will not listen to them. I can imagine how frustrating it can be for anyone when the victim wants to drop the case and yet the state wants to continue with the case and won't lift the orders of protection. You need to realize, in domestic violence, when the police are called to investigate any allegation and they find probable cause that a crime was committed, they're required to make an arrest. Even if the victim does not want to press charges, even if the victim does not want to make a statement or speak to the police, the general public seems to have a common misconception that the victim has a right to either press the charges or drop the charges in a domestic violence case. This is not accurate. On the contrary, even if the victim wants to drop the charges, the state's attorney may decide, after reviewing all the facts, that's in the state's best interest to continue with prosecuting the case. The reality is that in a lot of domestic violence cases, they're brought in the heat of the moment. And when people calm down the following day, they deeply regret the situation and they want to undo the damage. They want to drop the charges. This is particularly the case when there's a residential stay away or a no contact order and loved ones have to move out of the house and families are broken apart. While ultimately the victim can't drop the charges in a domestic violence case, the input from the victim is crucial to the disposition of a family violence case. In those cases where the victim is out for blood, aggressively seeking a guilty plea, and or a standing criminal order of protection, it can be much more difficult to obtain a favorable resolution. While the victim does not drive the bus in terms of being in charge of determining what the state's attorney is going to do in a particular case, having positive victim input can really be helpful for your case. By the way, never attempt to pressure or coerce the victim into changing their position. A lot of people make this mistake. First of all, in nearly every domestic violence case, there's at least a partial order of protection. So if you attempt to pressure the victim, you're violating a criminal order of protection, which is a serious Class C felony. In addition, in every case, attempting to coerce or intimidate a victim is a Class C felony. Also, it's called tampering with a witness. These are very serious crimes. Additionally, it's never a good idea to speak to a victim of a domestic violence case concerning the facts of the case. It's better to change the subject and talk about something else. If they want to talk to you about the particular allegations of the case, just change the subject and talk to them about the weather or some other subject. Don't discuss the case with them. While the victim can't drop the charges in a domestic violence case, the input from the victim is a really important factor in determining the outcome of a domestic violence case. Having a cooperative victim who doesn't want to have the charges proceed against you can go a long way to helping the case get resolved and reaching a favorable resolution. The best way to get your domestic violence case resolved is by working with an experienced domestic violence defense attorney to come up with a global strategy to defend the case and achieve a favorable resolution. The positive input of the victim, when not dispositive, is always helpful to achieving a quicker and more favorable result. Thank you for watching today's video. If you'd like to speak to me about any legal matter, feel free to call me for a free consultation. If you're interested in this type of content, please consider subscribing and hit the notification button on the bottom so you'll be notified when we post new videos. Thank you again for watching.